Good evening, everyone. How you are doing? I can see some good evening reverts, which from the southern region and the central region. Where are the people from the north and the east, the west? आपके वहाँ सनसेट जल्दी हो गया? Come on, with some energy, some more reverts to the greetings. We shall resume with our chapter then. Yeah. Hitesh, Sudhanshu, Annie, Pooja, Janisha, Karthik, Aitha, Pothina, Banreddy, Deepak, Sarthak. What about others? Lethargic enough to even wish? Huh? Oh, Karthik is asking me how is the Josh. Hi, sir. Hi, Karthik, sir. The Josh is high. The Josh should flow from your side as well to me, right? From each and every nook and corner of the country, from the north, from the south, center, east, west. Okay, kind of a technical chapter, right? Oh, yeah, nice, nice, nice. Chali, so one quick recap of what we did last time. Here we are, audit in an automated environment. So this is the chapter from your study mat. What is an automated environment we covered? Then key features of an automated environment. Relevance of IT in an audit. Why do we need to understand IT? Why do we need to study information technology in a subject like audit? Okay, this box we did, some situation which IT will be relevant to an audit. Okay, mark my words. These kind of boxes, green boxes or whatever color your book is having, blue, green boxes, in every chapter, they are really, really important. You know, when we used to study during our child days and school days, वो कलरफुल बॉक्सेस होते थे एंड उसमें कुछ शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस एंड कुछ ब्लैंक्स टाइप सब होता था सो दिस इज समथिंग really like that in our module as well, and these boxes are really important from examination point of view, so don't ignore these boxes. Whatever content is there in the boxes, it is really important, and this is an examination question. Mention some situations in which IT will be you feel IT will be relevant to an audit. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 points you have to write. What is the problem with audit actually? While attempting the answers in the examination hall, you have read so much of it. You have read, it's like so much of it that you are trying to write and explain the same feeling, same answer to every question. Had it been the case, they would have given you only one question. Write as much as you want. Write as much as is possible. They're asking you different questions. It is not a business studies or management exam, it is an audit exam. So you need to be quite specific. You have 8 points over here as an answer to this question, and students will keep on write, IT is really important, we need to understand computers, and like railway stations, like post offices, like here, there, they'll keep on writing stories. And they'll not get marks, and they'll say, we attempted this question and we didn't get marks. This is the reason. Your answer has to be quite specific and as per what the question has asked you. इधर उधर की बातें ज्यादा नहीं करनी होती आंसर, right? Then what we did, Risks and controls in an automated environment. We did the understanding part and documenting part. Auditors' considerations. Then there's this template which the auditor can use as a documentation on observing the IT structure of the organization. Then the risks, we did inaccurate processing of data, processing inaccurate data, or both, privileged users, super users. Then impact of IT related risks on our audit. This is what we did. Then we had types of controls in an automated environment. General IT controls, application controls, IT dependent controls. So here are general IT controls which we have to start with today. The application controls and IT dependent controls are the specific controls related to specific applications, and the IT dependent controls are those controls where some manual intervention is required, where the work is using computers depends upon manual intervention. Those controls are known as IT dependent controls, where I as a person have to operate a system and I have to use some information generated from the system. So if that information generated from the system, that data generated from the system is wrong, or there is some problem with the system, my controls are automatically dependent upon the information technology. Those are IT dependent controls. So let us start with where we left our previous session. We did the types of control, general IT controls, application, and IT dependent. Now we'll study the types of the general IT controls in detail. As I've told you, application controls and IT dependent controls, they're many. But general IT controls are really important in any organization just because they are the foundation, they are the ground, which is going to support the application controls as well as the IT dependent controls. So in general IT controls, first we have controls related to data center and network operations. Right? We have data center and network operations. What is data center? The place where your data is stored, the center from where you'll get all the data, all the information, and network operations within the networking. Networking is what? When your systems are connected to each other through wires, through satellites, anyways. Rahul, I've already uploaded this. मैंने upload कर दिया राहुल ये. I've uploaded the PPT presentation, the practice questions, as well as one MCQ file as well, multiple choice questions for your practice along with answers. Just one thing is left, that is the case study, which we'll be doing today relating to this chapter. I'll be uploading that after today's session. Everything else has been uploaded over there. Right? So what is the objective of data center and network operation general IT controls? So this is a class of general IT controls. Data center and network operations. You'll see general IT controls could be anything. कुछ भी मान लो general IT controls में. Anything generalized. So we have classified it into 4 types. We have classified general IT controls into 4 domains. The first one is relating to data center and general IT controls relating to data center and network operations. What should be our objective? What should be our objective? Our objective should be to ensure that production systems are processed to meet financial reporting objectives. That means whatever activities we are carrying out on raw data to produce information, these processes, we are able to meet whatever objectives we have. We have financial reporting. In audit, we have financial reporting objectives. We don't have the audit किससे क्या चीज बन रही है. If it is a hotel or something else, किससे क्या बन रहा है, कौन सी मिठाई बन रही है. No. We are limited to our financial reporting objectives, and we are limited to, we have our business to do with only those controls which fall on our part. So whatever the systems are producing as a result of the processes, the results should be able to meet our financial objectives, reporting, whatever we want to report in the financial statements. So this is the objective of this domain of data center and network operations. So what all activities are covered in these types of controls? Overall management of computer operation activities, quite normal. Overall management, overall supervision, how many computers, what applications are installed, who is using what computer, who has access to which printer, where is the LAN, which are connected to WAN, everything. Batch jobs, you might have read about batch processing in your costing. When commands, instructions, they are executed in batches. So we have to batch jobs, prepare, schedule, and execute those jobs. This is a step: preparing, then scheduling, and then executing. We prepare our notes, we schedule the revision, and we execute the revision. Then we have to take care of the backups. How are the backups being maintained by the organization? Monitoring of backups, how are they being stored? Hard drives, cloud, pen drives, and how is that backup being retained and retrieved as well? If you have a pen drive which has important notes, you plug it into your computer, you should be able to extract the contents of that pen drive. That is called retrieval. Then in these kind of controls, we have performance monitoring of our systems, the OS, the operating system. I hope you all know what is the operating system. OS, operating system. Can you give me an example? What is an operating system? Anyone, please. Database and networks. So if there is a failure, there is a power breakdown, there is a flood, there is a fire incident, accident. Yes, yes. Operating system is Mac in your Apple products and Windows. So recovery from failures. What is the plan with you? So we have backups, that is completely fine. But in case of a failure, power failure, or there is a virus attack, or there is some physical disaster, there is a failure of the whole system. How do you recover from it? What is your policy regarding that? See, this is not, yes, Linux is also this. And MS-DOS is something, I think, of the past. DOS, right? Mr. Chitala, really nice. So, see, controls is not only something which is related to systems. You have to sit on a desktop or laptop and you have to study controls. Controls related to their protection and recovery as well should form a part of these controls. What arrangements do you have in case of a failure? What plans do you have? BCP is business continuity plan. The business should not get halted. What is your continuity plan in case of a failure? Disaster recovery plan, DRP. How to recover from the disaster. So these plans should also form a part of these types of controls. Help desk functions, So in case of any problem with the working or the IT related issues, how are they being recorded, monitored, and tracked? Like in every case, we have a help desk number available for every kind of work. Any kind of work we do within a company, within an organization, in the same way, we should have a help desk arrangement, and every issue, everything, whatever you have been observing, it should be recorded, monitored, and tracked. Service level agreements are the agreements we have with third-party vendors for the maintenance and management of our general controls, IT systems. So monitoring of these agreements, compliance with the agreement clauses, documentation of these agreements, operation manuals, and service reports. Operation manuals is something how to operate. Whenever you purchase a product or something, you get an operation manual. So very obvious and very general IT controls in data center and network operations. Quite a wider scope. The first kind of general, the domain of general IT controls. When we move to next controls, that is program change. Program changes when we find something is the system is not working as per our requirement, or we need to modify, like you upgrade your softwares, update your software, something like this with the systems as well. Whatever systems we have in our organization, we might want them to be upgraded, changed, or some processes, some kind of sequences, we want them to be changed, to be updated. So that is called program change. What is the objective here? These to ensure that modified systems which have been modified continue to meet financial reporting objectives. They were meeting our financial reporting objectives. As per the data center and network operations, they were meeting our financial reporting objectives. Now, when they have been modified, they should continue to meet our financial reporting objectives. There should not be any issue or problem as a result of that modification. ये ना हो जो काम उनसे पहले लिया जा रहा था अब बिल्कुल उससे अलग कुछ वो रिजल्ट देने लग गए हैं, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So what activities are covered? Change management process. एक प्रोसेस पूरी आप डिफाइन करेंगे जहां पे आप वो चेंज सिस्टम के अंदर लाना चाह रहे हैं. आप चेंजेस डिफाइन करेंगे, आप रोल्स देंगे, आप रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज फिक्स करेंगे. I want the Windows, the operating system in my system, my laptop to be upgraded. So I'll think about it. What are my requirements? Will there be a shift in my requirements? Will the modified system will work according to my specifications, my requirement? So this is something, this is completely my individual point of view, but if we talk from the organization point of view, we definitely need to know. We definitely need to fix roles and responsibilities. We need to make the change request that we want the system to be changed as per our requirement. Everything should be maintained. A record should be maintained, managed, and the request should be tracked, what level it has reached. Then we have to make changes to the system. We are talking about program change. Analyze the change. What effect would it bear on our functions? Designing the change, developing the change. Oh, we have developed a new software for your system, new accounting software. It will give you reports like anything. Yes, with the advent of GST, we have to make changes to the accounting software so that we are able to get the GST returns properly prepared from the software system. We need to bring a change, and that particular change should be able to meet our financial reporting objectives. GST आने के बाद सॉफ्टवेयर्स की दुनिया में बहुत कुछ चेंज करना पड़ा, सॉफ्टवेयर्स को अलाइन करना पड़ा, नए सॉफ्टवेयर्स लाने पड़े. एंड यू विल सी व्हेन यू like search online, So you'll get a lot of softwares. They are offering you that please try to use our software, and you'll get with a click of second every kind of report, every kind of GST report flashed on in front of you through that software. आप किसी भी तरह की रिपोर्ट चाहेंगे वो आप हमारा सॉफ्टवेयर आपको देंगे. Currently, though, the softwares which the people were working with, they had to be changed, they had to be modified. And many other general controls, therefore, had to be modified so that we are able to meet financial reporting objectives. Now, those changes. No, manage is a wider term, Hitesh. Manage is a wider term. Monitor is something to supervise. Manage is a wider term. Monitoring is a part of management. Now you have to test the change, develop a test plan. How are you going to test the change? Then you test it. This UAT. Does anyone know what is this UAT? Has anybody read about it? Can anybody tell me what is UAT? I'll commit. I want from you what is UAT. This is an abbreviation I've used. What is UAT? Apply changes in production. If some more modifications are required, it's fine. Otherwise, you have tested the changes. Now apply those changes in the production of information. If some emergency and minor changes are required, what is the facility available with us for that program change? Then documentation, user technical manuals, but obvious we have changed something. Yeah, whenever you purchase a software or any kind of like you purchase a gadget or appliance for your home, you always get a user or technical manual, right? And then user training. Quite obvious. I'm looking for UAT. If somebody knows. Anybody tech savvy over here? What is UAT? Yes, Hariram, right. User acceptance training. Now, when you develop something, some new software or some new kind of system in your organizations, you always take feedback from different stakeholders involved. Your employees who are going to work on those softwares. Your employees are going to work on those softwares. So you'll ask them, please बैठिए, use कीजिए and tell us what is your feedback, what part you like it really good, and what are the bottlenecks which can be improved. There is a scope of improvement. So user acceptance testing, like a company has come out with a new mobile, right? New mobile phone, cell phones. It distributes 100 pieces among its employees. चलाइए इसे, टेस्ट कीजिए. बैलेंस भी हम दे रहे हैं आपको. All the managers and employees test कीजिए. How is the user interface? How is the sound working? How is the Bluetooth working? How is the net working? And they'll come to you with feedback so that you can improve that and launch it in the mass market, to the mass market. In the same way, when you have to test changes, you will develop a plan with respect to user acceptance. The user should be able to test. Yes, Pooja, like the beta version. And if accepted by the user, the testing is good. We are good. So that is what program changes. So we're done with data center and network operations, program change, access security. When we go out of our home to the market, we lock our home. Systems should also be put into a lock and key arrangement, but you cannot use that steel wala lock over here. That is my laptop. Kahan lock lagaun isko? Chabi kahan lagaun? What do we use to lock our systems to mobiles? Biometrics, retina scan, fingerprints, passwords, or patterns, dot patterns, right? In the same way, we have access security, general IT controls next domain. No. Miss Kaur, Amritpal, you have to write the points only. You need not explain. I'm explaining you because जितना आपको समझ में आए उस हिसाब से आप इसे learn कर सकें. Okay? Otherwise, in the exam, you have to write these points. Nothing else. Whatever examples I'm giving you, whatever I'm telling you, that is just for your understanding. If I'm telling you some story or something like this, you're not going to write it in your exam. That is not going to fetch you marks. The professional writing, the professional words are going to give you marks, right? So whatever is there in the presentation, that is enough. The presentation which I have shared with you, it is in the form of notes only. So whatever question you are going to get in exam, you can use that particular slide as your answer. Okay? Nothing more than that, unless and until asked for. So, okay, Amritpal, you have to just write the points. Whatever you can see on the screen. Yes, Hiral, you can. Hiral, you can. You can. It is always advisable to use as less full abbreviations as you want, as required. But like BCP, DRP, you can use. It is fine. Okay. Face lock. Right. So it is important in the case of IT as well. So what is the objective of these kinds of control, access security controls? Objective. If you talk in Hindi, if you want to know in Hindi, Mansha. What is the objective? Uddeshya. So to ensure, क्या पक्का करना चाह रहे हैं हम? To ensure that access means पहुंच. Access to the programs and data is authenticated. Authenticated means जिसको मिलनी चाहिए उसी को मिल रही है. Authenticated by a proper program. Those who have been given the access, they are getting the access, not anybody else. And authorized, proper authorities are there. Who is going to access what? To meet financial reporting objectives. A guest comes to your home. So the people in your home, they have access to kitchen, the storeroom, the first floor, any other room. But the guest, he or she has access to the living room unless and until you authorize them to, yes, move further in your home. Let's go to, my friend has come, let's go to my room and talk. So that is authority. And authentication is what? I'm entering my room, I have the key to that room if it is locked. That is authentication. So the objective of access security, general IT control, is to ensure that access to the programs and data is actually authenticated and properly authorized so that our financial reporting objectives are not compromised. What are the activities covered under these types of general IT controls? Access security related. Security organization and management throughout the organization. If you remember, we read about Chief Information Security Officer, CISO. To develop and maintain the security throughout the organization. What should be the organization of the security? What should be the levels? Who are the persons who are going to manage the security part in the organization? Develop security policies and procedures. application security, data security, operating system security. These are all parts of IT. Network security, internal network, perimeter network. You have not, the organization has a Wi-Fi network and they are not put it to password. It is being used publicly. Anybody can interfere with your network, and there is confidential information you are storing within your organization. Network security. Internal network means within the organization. Perimeter network means outside the organizations. Perimeter is what? 4 sides. चारों तरफ आपका network कितनी security का रख, like fencing your organization digitally. Fencing your organization from all sides digitally, like the firewalls. I hope you all know what a firewall is. Physical security. I have a server placed on second floor in the organization. So who can reach the second floor? Access controls, environmental controls. For example, like if you ever visit the organization structure of access structure of hotels, so they have these keys, specific keys. For example, if you book a special suite, it is on the 20th floor or 22nd floor. So not everybody who is using the common lift in the hotel can access that floor. If it is a special floor, only people who have booked room on that floor, they'll be able to access through the common elevator or lift. Not everybody has access to that floor. So this is an example of access controls. Environment controls is like, have you placed get a fire extinguisher mechanism over there, wherever your data is being stored, physical files are being stored, or you're like I've shown you the Google data center in the last session. So if you remember, they used to pump water when the wires used to get heated up, and then used to pump back the water after they cool down. That is an example of environment controls. पिछली वीडियो में आपने देखा होगा पानी पाइप्स के थ्रू जा रहा है, जब बहुत ज्यादा हीट हो जाता है wires, and then the water runs through the pipes, cools them down, the systems, and then it is pumped back. System administration and privileged accounts. So who are the system administrators? Like in a bank, the manager, the system admin. DBAs, DTBAs are the database administrators who administer the database. Who is going to get access to what? And super users we did in the previous session. So this is quite simple. You can see the lock and key arrangement, the password, the biometrics here. These are all the examples of access security controls. Last but not the least, application system acquisition, development and maintenance. For example, I want to develop my own systems within my organization. Either I outsource it to a vendor that come over to my place, my organization develop a system for me, or develop a system at your place, install it over me at my place. Or when we purchase any system, acquiring a system for the whole organization, right? Systems, developing that system and maintenance. For example, the ERP. We are going to implement ERP throughout our organization. Integrated system, enterprise resource planning, right? Throughout the organization. So we'll acquire the software, we'll get it developed, and then its maintenance. So it is something which is related to system development lifecycle. Related to system development lifecycle, SDLC. SDLC, System Development Lifecycle. So what are the activities involved? Overall management of development activities. How is the system going to be developed? Initiating the project, acquiring or development of the system, analyzing and designing of the system, who is going to access, what should be the interface, what should be the background color, is going to be the size of the icons, what options would be available to our employees while using the system. Construction is nothing, eat, रेत लेके आपको और वो some building construct करना है. Construction is something system. How is it going to be constructed? What programs, what languages are you going to use? What information, what data are you going to feed? What instructions, what softwares will be used within the that particular system? Again, testing of the system and quality assurance, whether it is giving us the right results. Conversion of the data from the old system to the new system. Go live decision. Yes, we are ready to go live. We can start working. And documentation and training. Amritpal, configuration is something whereby you connect your systems, you configure them as something like you treat the systems so that you are able to work upon them as per your requirement, to make the system work as per your requirement. I'll give you an example of configuration. Once we are done with this, I'll give you an example of the configuration, right? So this is what it is, activities. So development. Okay, recent example of acquisition, development and maintenance. If you people have any idea, अगर आप लोगों ने पिछला एक साल में देखा हो या किसी की आर्टिकलशिप हो, June 2021. The income tax site in India. It was a project given to the company Infosys to overhaul the income tax site, its features, everything as per the requirements of Ministry of Finance. From 1st June to 6th, or I don't know if 7th of June, the income tax site was not available to the general public for any kind of working. They had come out with the notification, please, whatever work is pending with you, finish it before 1st of June. Yes, Kiran, right. And what were they doing? They had developed a system. They had developed an hierarchy. Yes, we are going to give it to Infosys in through the, like, whatever the obvious process it would have been. Then the project was initiated at the company's end. Analysis was done as per the requirements of the Ministry of Finance. Unki kya requirements hai, kya wo chahte hain, the meetings and everything. Then the system was designed on paper or on whatever they need to have in hand beforehand. Then it was constructed, the website was constructed as per that design. Then it was tested and quality ensured. It was tested at their end. So this part till the construction part would have been completed by this date. Now for testing, quality assurance, they might have done this, but whatever it was left, and data conversion, this was required to be tested in these 6 days. It was required to be tested during these 6 days. Data would have been converted. And then they went live. They went live on 7th of June. And you will find a lot of tutorials on the new website. The old website was e-filing incometaxindia.gov.in. The new website is incometax.gov.in. So you will find a lot of tutorials on the website how to use various options and the documentations. So this is the example of how the controls need to be implemented at this level. System acquisition, development, and maintenance. Here you can see in the screen, analysis, maintenance. So you have planning, the first part, then analysis, then designing of the system, then implementation of the system, and then maintenance. There were a lot of difficulties with the new website, which were being taken care of at times, and now it is being maintained. If any issue is there, it is being taken care of. Okay. So 4 parts: data center and network operations, program change, access security, and application system acquisition, development, and maintenance. We spent so much time on these 4 parts just to make you guys understand this was a heavy topic in this whole chapter, so that you are able to learn these points for your exams. Okay. So we had done these testing methods in the last session. Okay, I've shared these practice questions with you. You can read them, practice them at your end. I'll take up those questions which I find important to be discussed with you. Okay, these are the questions. So when you are going to read the practice questions, just descriptive questions or correct, incorrect from the notes, just make sure I've written the answers or everything just the way some students ask how to write in the exams, what words to use, points, paras, kitna likhna hai, kaise likhna hai. So I've tried that the way you have to write your answers in the exams, I've tried to incorporate that way in your notes. So whenever there is this question, you have the answer. This means you have to write your in the exams, you have to write like this only. Okay. So this is a question. This is the answer. So like we'll discuss one question. When a business operates in a more automated environment, it is likely that we as auditors will see several business functions and activities happening within the systems. But obvious. Explain which of the aspects you will consider relevant as an auditor. So you have entered an organization where the business is using automated environment. So which aspects would you consider that whether they are relevant as far as systems are concerned, not human errors, as far as systems are concerned? What facts would be relevant for you as an auditor? The systems, computations and calculations, accounting entries, controls, reports being produced by those systems, and access and security mechanisms. So these are the 5 examples, quite obvious that I'll be interested in these 5 kinds of works related to systems. How are they performing? What is the strength of these 5 kinds of consideration? Okay, normal question. Correct, incorrect. Again, inquiry alone is sufficient to test the operating effectiveness controls. We did that. Inquiry is the most efficient and effective. We did that. The different categories of control over IT systems are interrelated. We did that. Pervasive controls, indirect controls, general controls. IT dependent controls are also known as pervasive controls or indirect controls. No, wrong. General IT controls are known by this name. So discuss the common methods applied by the auditor when testing in an automated environment is done by him. This is a question. This is a question you have to read because you will not find it in the notes within the topic. So practice questions are really important because there are some lighter topics which can be understood by a plain reading. I've covered them in the questions. Like this question, what common methods would an auditor apply while testing in an automated environment? So inquiry, inspection, these are the audit tests, but common methods. So it says 4 types of audit tests, but when testing in an automated environment, there are some common methods. Common methods means which can be applied in any situation, whether you're using inquiry, observation, inspection, reperformance, or a clubbing of any of these tests. So what are those? Obtaining an understanding of how an automated transaction is processed by doing a walkthrough of one end-to-end transaction using a combination of inquiry, observation, and inspection. I'll ask an employee in the organization, okay, I'm sitting with you. Just tell me how you process, how you record this transaction. You have purchased a machinery, and how will you record this transaction in your accounts? So what I'll see, the employee from the accounts department will go through the purchase requisition, the tenders, or the quotes received from various vendors. Then was it purchased from the best vendor quote, where we got the best quote? Then the invoices, when was a delivery made, everything. What amount I have to record it, whether I have to include GST in the cost or not. I'll be sitting with him and I'll be inquiring on certain questions, and I'll be observing him, how is he going to record the transaction, what documentation is he going to maintain, and I'll inspect it on the system as well. So walkthrough of one transaction end to end, observing how that particular person is processing transactions in different scenarios. Inspect the configuration. I'll come to configuration defined in an application. Inspect the system logs. What is log? History. What is being done in a transaction? What has been done since today? This is available in your computer systems as well. The log. The recent files is a log. If you use the icon of written, the folder of recent files in your systems, that is a log. To determine any changes made since last audit testing, inspecting technical manuals, carrying out a test check, conducting reperformance. So these are some common methods. So this is also an examination question. People, exam ka question hai ye, one of your previous exams. Okay. So what happened is, if you have not read the study material properly, chapter from the study module, the common methods, you will keep on writing about inquiry, inspection, observation. We just have to give a reference of the audit test. These are the common methods. You'll get marks for this. Okay? The common methods. Inspection, a bigger criteria than inquiry. There is no such thing that bigger or lower criteria. They are used in different, like you would have done an internal control questionnaire or something in the chapter 4, right? Inquiry, interviews. So it is situation specific. Situation specific it is. So this is what we did. List any 4 points that an auditor should consider to obtain an understanding of the company's automated environment. So this is 4 points. Any 4 points you can mention. But if the students have not read about this topic they'll keep on writing different stories. The auditor should read SA 315. The auditor should understand the importance of IT, something which is very kind of vague. Vague answers. Okay, the auditor should understand and consider the risks that may arise from the use of information technology. We did this. Analyze how risks in the IT system, if not mitigated, could have an impact on the audit. The substantive, the control, and auditor's reporting part. We did it in the form of a flow chart. Newly developed. URL newly developed. Okay, so that was a part from our previous session. Let me show you. Okay, system development life cycle. Let us do one thing. Okay. So system development life cycle. We did. How's the system developed? Let us see it.
What is Systems Development Life Cycle? Presented by Zero2ProTraining.com. In this video, we will talk about what is Systems Development Life Cycle. Systems Development Life Cycle is a term used to describe a process for planning, creating, testing, and deploying an information system. The Systems Development Life Cycle is also referred to as the Application Development Life Cycle. The abbreviation SDLC is used for the term. This term is used in systems engineering, information systems and software engineering. The Systems Development Life Cycle concept applies to a range of hardware and software configurations. As a system can be composed of hardware only, software only, or a combination of both. A system's development life cycle is composed of a number of clearly defined and distinct work phases. The work phases are used by systems engineers and systems developers to plan for, design, build, test, and deliver information systems. An SDLC is aimed to produce high-quality systems, similar to a manufacturing assembly line. The purpose is to meet or exceed customer expectations. First, customer requirements are determined. Then, a system is produced in clearly defined phase, within scheduled time frames and cost estimates. Computer systems are complex and often link multiple traditional systems, potentially supplied by different software vendors. The complexity has increased due to rise of service-oriented architecture. To manage this level of complexity, a number of SDLC models or methodologies have been created, such as waterfall, spiral, agile software development.
Okay, that is all what is required for you right now. Okay, that is all what is required for you right now. Till that part only. What is system development life cycle? That was enough to understand the fourth part of general IT controls. FCA Pooja is fellow chartered accountant. When you become a chartered accountant for 5 years, you are an associate chartered accountant ECA. After 5 years, you become a senior in the fraternity and you can actually be called a fellow chartered accountant, that you have 5 years of experience and you can take it by paying a certain fee. Then onwards, you will be called as an FC, fellow chartered accountant. In simple words for you. Any doubt till now? Okay, people were asking me configuration, right? Configuration is, you have a computer and you want to connect your keyboard and mouse to the computer. So what would you do? You'll purchase a wired mouse or keyboard. You'll plug the wire into the CPU at the relevant place, slot, That is called, in simple words, that is called configuring. You will use the wireless mouse and the wireless keyboard. You will connect it to your computer via Bluetooth. That is configuration. Configuration, in simple words, is just an arrangement. In higher terms, it is something which is related to programs, that the languages, and something which is as per the hardware and software requirements. But in normal terms, being configuring anything is making an arrangement as per your requirement between different devices. That is called configuration. Okay, so moving over here, please note Rajiv Sachdeva sir's number. You have it over here in front of your screens. You wanted Rajiv sir's number. Those who are not having it, please, for any issues or queries, if you want to have a word with him, it's available at this number. And there is another number as well. We'll share it soon. Yes, Pooja, it is like establishing a connection. In broader terms, it has a specific meaning as well. But for your understanding, in broader terms, yes, establishing a connection. Connection as per the hardware and the software in the system. For example, you cannot charge your C-type mobile with the normal charger, because your C-type mobile is configured to get charged with the C-type chargers. That is again configuration. Chali aage. Okay, this is for you. A glossary before we move ahead. What are applications? You all know what are applications? We all use mobile phones. What are applications? Computer software programs that provide a medium for recording, storage, and retrieval of business operations or transactions in electronic format. Microsoft Word files, Gmail, your mails, recorded over there, stored over there, and you can retrieve it anytime. What else? Google Drive, Outlook, YouTube. You can save your videos to favorites or watch later. Galleries. So these are all application softwares. ERP we did. For example, SAP, a type of business application software that provides an integrated. What is integrated? आपस में सब जुड़े हुए हैं. They are connected. Every department of the organization, the company is connected to each other. Integrated. Electronically connected. That is what integrated. Like joint families. So joint department families within the organization. It provides an integrated platform to automate multiple interrelated business processes and operations. For what are those business processes and operations? Like managing inventory, the financials, human resources management, the payrolls, what salary to be given to whom, what time, production figures, service related figures, purchase department related, marketing department related. They all should be integrated into one system where any department, if wants information, can get that information through one software. These three terms are really important. For the next 5 minutes, be with me over here. These three terms really important. What is a control deficiency? This is number one. What is a control deficiency? ये तीनों बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ध्यान से समझिएगा अच्छे से तीनों के तीनों, और इनका डिफरेंस क्या है. control deficiency, significant deficiency, and material weakness. Very important from audit point of view as well. So word by word, be with me. देखिए यहाँ पे ये क्या है, ये स्टील रोप है, टूट रही है. This is a deficiency. Exists when an internal control. What could be the internal control? What could be the internal control? I have locked the main gate to my home. This is internal control. Or if someone enters my home, they have to ring the bell before that. It's an internal control. Or your dog is sitting over there at the main gate. That is also kind of internal control. So just normal examples in organizations. What is internal control? A security guard sitting over there. You have to make an entry in the register. Okay. So when an internal control is either missing, it is actually not there. You can enter the organization. Anybody can enter the organization. There is no guard. There is no biometrics installed. Anybody can enter the company. Or they are not operating effectively. The guard is there, but he's sleeping. He has to make an entry, but he's sleeping. To prevent or detect a misstatement in a timely manner by management. So from financial reporting point of view, if you understand, there is a check in the system. This particular information cannot, once recorded, once fed, it cannot be changed. If you have recorded a cash expense in the system, you have passed an entry, it gets logged, it cannot be changed. Be sure about the entry before recording it. This is a strong control, internal control. If this kind of control is missing, or anybody can access the cash ledger in the organization and make any changes, it is not operating effectively. It will not be able to prevent, or if it happens, detect that misstatement. It will create a problem for our financial reporting. So this is a control deficiency. So when an internal control is either missing or not operating effectively, to prevent or detect a misstatement in a timely manner. So misstatement is with respect to financial reporting. If the guard is not there, is not there, or he's sleeping, he'll not be able to prevent some people from entering the building, entering the organization. Or if somebody enters, he might not be able to locate them, find them where they have gone, detect. Now coming to the second one, significant deficiency. Now this is a simple one, control deficiency. Now further its types. A control deficiency. Now significant deficiency have all the features of a control deficiency. It is a kind of control deficiency. A control deficiency or a combination of deficiencies in internal controls. तो एक कंट्रोल डेफिशिएंसी भी हो सकती है और बहुत सारी इकट्ठी मिलकर भी. A combination that is important enough, और इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है वो डेफिशिएंसी है, इट इज क्वाइट इंपॉर्टेंट. माय होम्स द मेन डोर्स लॉक got bad. It has got broke. So I had to get it done, repaired right away. I cannot wait for it. So these control deficiencies or a combination of deficiencies important enough to merit means attract, invite the attention of those charged with governance, the management, the directors, the different committees, those who have the responsibility of governing, overlooking the governance in the organization. So if there is a control deficiency or a combination of deficiencies that are important enough that those charged with governance should know about it. Why? Because there is a reasonable possibility. Reasonable possibility means that can be proved with logic. There is a reasonable possibility that a misstatement will not be prevented or detected in a timely manner by the manager. I can prove it reasonably. अगर ये कमी आपके सिस्टम में रहती है या ये कमियां आपके सिस्टम में रहती हैं, तो आपके सिस्टम में मिसस्टेटमेंट, यू ऑल नो व्हाट इज अ मिसस्टेटमेंट, उसको प्रिवेंट करना, रोकना, या अगर वो हो जाती है उसे पहचानना मुश्किल हो जाएगा समय रहते. A misstatement will not be able to prevent or detect a misstatement in a timely manner, and that will affect your financial reporting. कैश के एक्सपेंसेस रिकॉर्ड हो रहे हैं कैश में, बट प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में नहीं जा रहे हैं. प्रॉफिट विल शूट अप. This is just one example. Cash balance will shoot up because cash is not getting decreased. Expenses are not being recorded in the profit and loss statement. Misstatement हो गया. Inflated profits, inflated cash because there was a deficiency. We were recording cash in the cash ledger, but it was not daily cash ledger, but cash book. But the double impact on the cash ledger and profit and loss was not being recorded. Somewhere there was a deficiency in the system. So this is a significant deficiency. Third is material weakness. A control deficiency or a combination of deficiency in internal controls that is important enough to merit the attention of those charged with governance. Same चल रहा है significant deficiency जैसा. Since there is a reasonable possibility that a material misstatement will not be prevented detecting in a timely manner by the management. Difference कहाँ आया? फर्क कहाँ आया? Significant deficiency और material weakness में. Difference आया material word से. Here we have material misstatement. Here we have only misstatement. So any kind of misstatement, whether it is material or immaterial, any kind of misstatement. Okay, there is a deficiency, like there is a misstatement, reasonable possibility that a misstatement will not be prevented or detected in a timely manner by the management. So there could be control in the deficiency, or there could be people who are there is a deficiency in the internal controls relating to biometrics or attendance register. People who are not present in the organization, still they are getting their proxy attendances recorded, and they are getting paid without being present in the company for some days. This is a significant deficit. This is a misstatement. They are being paid for no work being done by them. They were on leave. And if this pay gets into lakhs, majority of employees are doing this, this becomes a material misstatement, because this is going to affect our profits as well now, our financial statements as well now. That becomes a material misstatement. I hope by now you all must have got to know the requisite knowledge about the difference between a misstatement and a material misstatement. So when a control deficiency is important enough, or its combination to merit the attention of TCWG, TCWG आपको अपने एग्जाम में यूज नहीं करना, आपको पूरा लिखना है those charged with governance. Okay, somebody asked me हम BCP DRP लिख सकते हो, but मैनेजमेंट को MGT TCW those charged with governance को TCWG नहीं लिखना, those charged with governance पूरा लिखना है. If there could be a misstatement, then it is a significant deficiency. If there could be a material misstatement, it is going to be a material weakness. So you must know the difference between these three terms. Control deficiency has a wider scope. Significant deficiency, a specific kind of control deficiency, and material weakness, further a more specific kind of control deficiency. Okay? So very important from correct incorrect point of view. What is a mainframe? This is a mainframe computer, as you can see on your screen. A term that is used to describe a very large computer. High computing power, memory and storage required for running large business operations. These are used in the fields of research, development, space, healthcare, weather. You can see this lady, this person standing, these are the mainframes. We watched this in the YouTube video in the last session, previous session. We could see these computers at the Google data center. How many big servers were there? I told you they are mainframes. What are mini frames? A small computer, छोटू सा computer that is intermediate between a microcomputer, micro उससे भी छोटा, जैसे हमारे laptops, desktop computers, and a mainframe in size, speed, and capacity that can support time sharing, oftenly dedicated to a single application. So a mini computer is also called a mid-range computer. Multi-user systems like we are using in our offices, in our homes, these are all mini computers. Quite simple, you can see in the picture itself. What is data? Data refers to the digital content that is stored in electronic form within computer systems. Quite general. What is a database? So a tank, a digital tank of the data, where the whole data gets stored, is called database, from where you can extract the data and work upon it. Like your Google Drives, they are database only. Whatever file you require to work on a continuous changing basis, you extract, retrieve that file from the database, work upon it, and then save it over there only. So a logical means which works on the basis of logic. It works on the basis of logic within a larger information system where electronic data is stored in a predefined form and retrieved for use in MS files, gallery form, image form, videos, whatever it is. So that is why it is a logical subsystem. What is direct data change? A backend modification we did about this direct data change we did in the previous session. That is made directly to data stored in a database, bypassing business rules built into a business application software. If we want to make a change to the data, we have to extract it from the database, get it onto our system, make the requisite changes, save it, then restore it again on the data. For example, there is a PDF file you have with you on your Gmail drive. So what would you do? You'll open it with Adobe, or there's an Excel file, you'll open it with Microsoft Excel. You will try to edit it. You'll edit it on your system, and then you'll save it again on with your drive. So if you can access and make the changes directly over there where the data is stored, this is called direct data change. So only privileged users, super users would have access to this kind of thing, changing the data directly over there at the database. Not everybody would have this privilege. And that too upon various following a sequence, a logical path. Try to remove a software or something or a program for your C drive in your system, and it will ask you require administrator permission to do this, because you cannot remove or delete this kind of folder from your system. You are trying to make a direct data change, which is not possible. You require administrator permission, kind of security control as well as you cannot change it. Try to change the information on a website. You are surfing, you are getting through a website, and try to change whatever is written on the website. You cannot, because you don't have this facility, direct data change. Wikipedia provides this facility. If you want to make any changes, please do so. We'll check it, we'll verify it, and then we'll make it, incorporate it in our article. But can you do it on my presentation? I'm sharing with your presentation. Can you change anything on my presentation? I can, but you cannot. I have the access, you don't have it. That is direct data change. Logical system Dhanlakshmi is something which works as per the fed sequence. The computer will ask a series of pop-up boxes. It will flash a lot of pop-up boxes. It will might ask a password. Like you shared. We took Aditi as an example. Party, pictures. So Aditi will have to give you access to those pictures, which she has stored over there on her drive. Without that password, you'll not be able to access that data in that database. So that is why it is a logical subsystem. Not anyone and everyone can do anything on it. That is what logic is. I hope Dhanlakshmi is clear. Any doubt till now? Should I proceed further or do you guys need a break? We can break for 50 minutes right away. And if you think you can go further, you have that capacity to go further for 15 minutes, we'll complete the next subtopic and then we'll take a break. क्या चाहते हैं आप? What is your wish? ऐसा ना हो मैं पढ़ाने लग जाऊं और आप पे ब्रेक. So please be fast. The part 3, miscellaneous topics. Should I go ahead? Only 2 people have answered. One is asking for break and another one is asking, yes, you can go further. क्या समझूं मैं इससे? थोड़े और लोग तो जोश में आओ, कुछ बताओ. Okay, I've got majority votes for break. Okay, so let us break for 15 minutes, right? So we'll be here back 7:35. You all should be here by 7:35, back after break. Okay? Chaliye, let's break for 15 minutes. Okay, yes, break start. Okay, guys, we are back. So, till other people are joining, some people had asked me about database, and some people asked me about cloud storage. In the previous session, what is cloud storage? What do you mean by cloud storage? Some people were not really aware with the concept of cloud storage, and some people have asked me today about database. Okay, so let us understand the meaning of these terms with the help of graphics. So we'll take 5 to 7 minutes till everyone joins, and please enjoy this conceptual graphical videos on database and cloud storage. So here we go. First, we'll see what is database. Okay, enjoy.
हेलो, इस वीडियो में हम डेटाबेस क्या है यह समझेंगे। सबसे पहले हम ये जानेंगे कि हमें डेटाबेस की क्यों जरूरत है। हम सबके पास बहुत सारा डेटा है। उदाहरण के लिए आपके फोन में आपके पास कॉन्टैक्ट्स हो सकते हैं और उनके फोन नंबर्स हैं। आप आपकी ईमेल को किसी ईमेल ऐप जैसे जीमेल में स्टोर करते होंगे। आपके फोटोग्राफ्स इंस्टाग्राम या फेसबुक में होंगे, शायद वीडियोस यूट्यूब पर, और ऐसे और भी आपके पास डेटा हो सकता है। अगर कभी कभी आपको अपना डेटा मैनेज करना मुश्किल लगता है तो सोचिए कुछ बड़ी कंपनीज के बारे में, जैसे कि गूगल, फेसबुक या बड़े कॉर्पोरेशन या बैंक्स। सोचिए वो अपना सारा डेटा जैसे कि यूजर्स की इंफॉर्मेशन, मेल्स, मैसेज, फोटो, वीडियो, बिलिंग डेटा, वेंडर डेटा आदि कहाँ और कैसे स्टोर करते होंगे। और हम जो उनके कस्टमर्स हैं, हमें चाहिए कि वह हमारा डेटा हमें सेकंड्स में प्रस्तुत करे। इन सब कंपनीज के पास डेटाबेस है। तो ये डेटाबेस क्या है? डेटाबेस डेटा या इंफॉर्मेशन का कलेक्शन या संग्रह है जो इस तरह से ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाता है कि हम उसे आसानी से एक्सेस, मैनेज या अपडेट कर सके। और जब हम बोलते हैं DBMS यानी कि डेटाबेस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, तो यह एक ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर है जो इस डेटा को कंप्यूटर सिस्टम पे स्टोर, रिट्रीव और अपडेट करने में हमारी मदद करता है। कुछ DBMS जो काफी लोकप्रिय हैं, वो है MySQL, SQL सर्वर, Oracle आदि।
पर हम अपना पुराना और भरोसेमंद फाइल प्रोसेसिंग सिस्टम क्यों नहीं यूज कर सकते?
फाइल प्रोसेसिंग सिस्टम में कई खामियां हैं, जैसे कि डेटा रिडंडेंसी, डेटा इनकंसिस्टेंसी, डेटा को शेयर नहीं कर पाना, डेटा का कोई मापदंड नहीं होना और डेटा का असुरक्षित होना आदि।
क्या? मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आया।
चलिए इनको एक एक करके समझते हैं। डेटा रिडंडेंसी का मतलब है डेटा डुप्लीकेट होना। जो नॉन डेटाबेस या फाइल सिस्टम होते हैं, वह अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन के लिए डेटा की अलग अलग कॉपी बनाते हैं। इस डुप्लीकेशन की वजह से डेटा इनकंसिस्टेंट हो जाता है, क्योंकि कई बार सब जगह अपडेट करना मुश्किल हो जाता है। दूसरी तरफ DBMS डेटा को एक जगह पे ही स्टोर करता है और कोई भी एप्लीकेशन प्रोग्राम जिसको डेटा चाहिए वो सेंट्रल जगह को रेफर कर सकता है। इस सेंट्रलाइजेशन की वजह से डेटा कंसिस्टेंट और सिक्योर रहता है। डेटा रिडंडेंसी होने से एक दूसरी प्रॉब्लम आती है, डेटा इनकंसिस्टेंसी। जब एक ही डेटा की बहुत सारी बेमेल कॉपीज होती हैं, तो उसे कहते हैं डेटा इनकंसिस्टेंसी। अगर डेटा रिडंडेंसी को कंट्रोल नहीं किया जाता है तो कई बार ऐसा हो जाता है कि एक ही डेटा की 2 एंट्रीज मैच नहीं करती हैं। ऐसे डेटाबेस को इनकंसिस्टेंट डेटाबेस कहते हैं। एक इनकंसिस्टेंट डेटाबेस हमें गलत या विरोधी इंफॉर्मेशन ही देगा। फिर आता है शेयरिंग। DBMS के होने से एक फायदा ये है, सभी एप्लीकेशंस एक ही डेटाबेस को शेयर कर सकते हैं, और अगर हम कुछ नई एप्लीकेशंस भी डेवलप करते हैं तो हम उसी डेटाबेस को यूज कर सकते हैं। कई बार डेटा से रिलेटेड किसी कंपनी के खुद के स्टैंडर्ड्स या नियम होते हैं, या इंडस्ट्री के स्टैंडर्ड्स होते हैं, या कोई राष्ट्रीय, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्टैंडर्ड्स होते हैं जिनका पालन करना अनिवार्य होता है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में DBMS हमारी मदद करता है ताकि हम उन सभी स्टैंडर्ड्स को सही तरीके से लागू कर सकें। किसी भी संस्था का डेटा या किसी की व्यक्तिगत जानकारी हमेशा सिक्योर और प्राइवेट होनी चाहिए। DBMS हमें ये डेटा सिक्योरिटी और प्राइवेसी देने में मदद करता है, क्योंकि आप एक डेटाबेस को अगर एक्सेस करना चाहते हैं तो आपको एक प्रॉपर चैनल से ही आना पड़ेगा, और ऑथराइजेशन चेक्स या अनुमति के बाद ही आप सेंसिटिव डेटा या संवेदनशील जानकारी को देख सकते हैं। डेटाबेस के अलग अलग प्रकार होते हैं, जैसे कि हायरार्किकल, नेटवर्क, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड और रिलेशनल डेटाबेस। अब हम रिलेशनल डेटाबेस को थोड़ा डिटेल में जानेंगे। जब हम डेटा को कई सारे टेबल्स में स्टोर करते हैं जो कुछ कॉमन फील्ड से जुड़े होते हैं, तो इस डेटाबेस को हम रिलेशनल डेटाबेस कहते हैं। टेबल एक ऐसा डेटा सेट है जो रोज और कॉलम्स में ऑर्गेनाइज्ड होता है। एक रो को हम रिकॉर्ड भी कहते हैं, जिसमें एक पूरी यूनिट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन होती है। कॉलम्स को हम फील्ड भी कहते हैं, जिसमें एक ही टाइप की इंफॉर्मेशन होती है। यह नेम डेटा का सबसे छोटा यूनिट होता है। ये कितने भी बिट्स या बाइट्स का हो सकता है। ज्यादातर सभी टेबल्स में एक कॉलम या फील्ड ऐसी होती है जो उस टेबल के रोज या रिकॉर्ड्स को यूनिकली आइडेंटिफाई करती है। इस फील्ड को हम प्राइमरी की कहते हैं। जब हम बोलते हैं फॉरेन की, तो यह एक ऐसी फील्ड है जो किसी दूसरे टेबल की प्राइमरी की को रेफर करती है। अब जब आपका डेटा डेटाबेस में स्टोर हो जाता है, तो आप इससे काम कैसे करते हैं? ज्यादातर बड़ी कंपनीज के पास एक डीबीए या डेटाबेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर होता है, जिसकी जिम्मेदारी होती है डीबीएमएस को मैनेज और मेंटेन करना। यह डेटाबेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स एक खास कंप्यूटर लैंग्वेज, एसक्यूएल या स्ट्रक्चर्ड क्वेरी लैंग्वेज का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, जिसकी मदद से हम एक डेटाबेस को क्रिएट, एक्सेस और मैनिपुलेट कर सकते हैं। एसक्यूएल से आप आमतौर पे क्वेरीज लिख सकते हैं जो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज जैसी दिखती है, और इससे आप डेटाबेस पे कोई भी काम कर सकते हैं। ज्यादातर डीबीएमएस फॉर्म्स डिस्प्ले करते हैं, जो एक तरह का यूजर इंटरफेस है, जिसकी मदद से कोई भी यूजर किसी भी टेबल को देख या अपडेट कर सकता है। डीबीएमएस अपने डेटा को एक रिपोर्ट में डाल के प्रेजेंट भी कर सकता है। रिपोर्ट का मतलब एक फॉर्मल, आकर्षक, छपा हुआ दस्तावेज जो किसी भी डेटा को अच्छे से फॉर्मेट में प्रस्तुत करता है। तो यह थी डेटाबेस के बारे में कुछ बेसिक जानकारी। हमारे अगले
So I hope the concept of DBMS administrator, data कैसे restore होता है, कैसे आपका स्टोर होता है, कैसे आप रिट्रीव कर सकते हैं, कैसे अपडेट कर सकते हैं, एवरीथिंग कुछ क्लैरिटी आपको आई होगी विद द हेल्प ऑफ ग्राफिक्स। आई होप सो। जिनको भी थोड़ा भी कहीं लगता है दैट दे आर नॉट दैट टेक सेवी रिलेटिंग टू दिस चैप्टर, प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस विद द हेल्प ऑफ ग्राफिक्स. So you'll be able to understand what is actually data, database and everything, and you could see the access mechanisms. So this is something which is for your use, for taking a break from that technical study, but also this is something which is really knowledgeable, and when you see it, instead of reading and listening to it, including apart from reading and from the book and listening to what I am telling you, if you see it on your screens, watch it on your screens, this gives a good understanding. Now, some people ask me, what is cloud storage? So here we are. What is cloud storage?
Welcome to Google Cloud Drawing Board, where we doodle our way through the cloud. Today's topic, what is cloud storage? Cloud storage is a global, secure, and scalable object store for immutable data such as images, text, videos, or any other file formats. You store objects in buckets which are associated with a project which are grouped under an organization. You can then upload objects to the bucket and download objects from it using the console or gsutil commands. By default, data at rest is encrypted, and you have options to secure it with your own encryption keys using Google Cloud's Key Management Service or your own key management service on-premise. You can grant permission to specific members and teams or make the objects fully public for use cases such as websites. When creating buckets, you have options depending on budget, availability, and access frequency. Choose standard regional or multi-regional buckets for high performance, frequent access, and highest availability. Nearline for once a month access, cold line for less than once a quarter, and archive for data that you want to put away for years. It costs a bit more to use standard storage because it allows for automatic redundancy and frequent access options. Nearline, cold line, and archive storage offer 99% availability and cost significantly less. Cloud storage offers automatic object versioning, so you don't have to worry about versioning and can still access the older version if needed. With Object Lifecycle Management, you can automatically transition the data to lower cost storage classes when it reaches a certain age or when you store a newer version of a file. Once you have stored the data, accessing it is easy with a single API call for all storage classes. Standard regional and multi-regional buckets are optimal to use for hosting static websites, streaming, and storing documents. Nearline and coldline storage classes are widely used for backups and disaster recovery, and Archive, as the name suggests, is best for long-term archiving. Cloud storage is a great data lake choice for streaming and batch uploading data for big data and ML projects. To noodle more on cloud storage.
Okay, let's resume with our chapter. Now, as an auditor, what does Companies Act want from us with respect to the technicalities, the concepts covered in this chapter? My pleasure, Rahul. Okay, so here we go. The topic of IFC, internal financial controls. So basically, first of all, what are internal financial controls? Policies and procedures. So policies, the basic rules, guidelines laid out by the company, the organization, and operations or works which you do to implement these policies are the procedures put into place by the companies for ensuring. What do they want to assure? क्या पक्का करना चाहते हैं वो? Reliability of financial reporting. So whatever information we are getting from our financial reports, they are reliable, trustworthy. आप भरोसा कर सकते हैं उस information पे. Effectiveness and efficiency of operations. The operations in the organization are effective, giving the desired results, effective, and of the best quality in the least possible time, efficient. Compliance with applicable, whatever laws and regulations are applicable on the organization as per the industry the organization is working in. Safeguarding of the assets of the organization. Basically the IT assets also. And prevention and detection of fraud. So what are internal financial controls? These are separate kind of controls. Internal controls have a wider scope. Internal financial controls are specific financial controls, basically those controls over financial reporting. So policies, procedures to ensure, so the company has to come out with some policies and procedures. These policies and procedures are called IFC. Now company comes out with a lot of policies and procedures. So every policy and procedure IFC, no. Those policies and procedures only which ensure these 5 things: reliability, effectiveness, efficiency, compliance, safeguarding of assets, prevention and detection of frauds. These 5 facts are ensured by such policies and procedures. They are called internal financial controls. Okay? So the Companies Act helps us in this with internal financial controls. The term has been given by the law. It has placed a greater emphasis on effective implementation of such controls. So how does the Companies Act helps us to check the effective implementation of controls? Let us understand with the help of a table first. There are 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points. The first point. Through section 134, subsection 5, clause E, I hope you all have this understanding how to read sections. This is section 134, subsection 5, clause E. The Companies Act, it is of the Companies Act. It places a responsibility on the board of directors, and this section is applicable to listed companies. This is just a bird's eye view. We are going to do it in detail as well. Then Rule 8, Sub-Rule 5 of Companies Accounts Rules. So you know the Companies Act 2013 has come out with rules as well. The Basic Act, any act which has rules to it, the Basic Act lays down the law, and the rules tell us the procedures to implement that law step by step. So you should know the difference between the act and the rules. So the Companies Accounts Rules, the Rule 8 of companies, these are the rules related to the maintenance of accounts by the companies. So Rule 8, Sub-Rule 5 of the Companies Account Rules. This rule places a responsibility on board of directors, and it is applicable to all the companies, listed, unlisted, every kind of company. Section 149, subsection 8 and Schedule 4 to the Act, Companies Act. So it lays responsibility on independent directors. Directors, independent. Independent directors, you will get to know about them in your CA final law as well. Basically, independent directors free from any influence in the company. All companies having independent directors applicable on those, this section. Section 177. Audit committee के ऊपर responsibility डाल दी section 177 and applicable all those companies having audit committee. There are some requirements, eligibility requirements, applicability. किन companies के independent directors होने चाहिए, किन की audit committee होनी चाहिए. You'll get to read about it in your CA final law as well. Section 143, subsection 3, clause 1. Applicable on statutory auditors of the companies. We come into place. अभी तक सिर्फ मैनेजमेंट की बात हो रही थी, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स, ऑडिट कमेटी. अभी तक सिर्फ टीसीडब्ल्यूजी की बात हो रही थी, दोज चार्ज विद गवर्नेंस, 4 पॉइंट्स में. अब हमारे पास आ गया लॉ, स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर्स के ऊपर रिस्पांसिबिलिटी डाल दी और हर कंपनी के ऊपर एप्लीकेबल है. So let us see point by point what these 5 points have to tell us. Section 134, subsection 5, clause E. What does this section say? It says, in case of listed companies, it was applicable to listed companies. Responsibility was board of directors. The director's responsibility statement shall state that the directors had laid down internal financial controls. Directors ने policies और procedures बनाए हैं internal financial controls के लिए, to be followed by the company. Company means the management, the workforce, and that such internal financial controls are adequate. Adequate means enough. Enough, whatever is required in the company, enough. They are not inadequate. Matlab they wanted more. Some more controls were required to be put into place by the directors. Enough adequate controls which were required have been put into place by the directors, and they were operating effectively throughout the year. There was no lapse, कोई कमी पेशी नहीं थी. वो पूरा साल अच्छे से ये जो फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल्स हमने लगाए थे, इंटरनल कंट्रोल्स, चेक्स लगाए थे, पॉलिसीज और प्रोसीजर्स हमने बनाए थे कंपनी के अंदर फॉलो करने के लिए, ये ऑपरेट कर रहे थे इफेक्टिवली. फॉर एग्जांपल, वन ऑफ द कंट्रोल्स, इंटरनल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल्स वाज that whosoever wants to claim reimbursement of the traveling expenses for official purposes, they'll have to submit their invoices for reimbursement. Invoices related to their expenses. मैं कंपनी के बिहाफ पे कॉन्फ्रेंस अटेंड करने गया, होटल में स्टे किया, डेली का खाना पीना, एवरीथिंग, ट्रैवलिंग, ट्रेन, फ्लाइट. So the company says, please produce the original invoices, mail us, make a folder, hand over to us. with your reimbursement statement, and then only will be able to reimburse those expenses. So directors have to make sure that this policy is being followed. ऐसा ना हो कोई गया है और वो आके बोल दे जी मेरा इतना का खर्चा हुआ मेरे को दे दीजिए और कंपनी की तरफ से उसे दे दिया गया. There was no documentation. So this is something which is a kind of control, falls under internal financial control. और ये actually हो रहा था. If we want to check, we can check the invoices and all. So as per this sections, the directors in their report have to give a director's responsibility statement. As a director, हमारी क्या responsibility है कंपनी की तरफ, वो हम अपनी responsibility statement में डिटेल में लिखेंगे और उसमें से एक पॉइंट ये होना चाहिए. This should form one of the major points of director's responsibility statement. Then coming to the audit committee part, section 177, subsection 4, clause 7, जिन कंपनीज में ऑडिट कमेटी की रिक्वायरमेंट है, every audit committee shall act in accordance with the terms of reference specified in writing by the board of directors, which shall inter alia means होना ही चाहिए, include evaluation of internal financial controls and risk management systems. So the audit committee should act as per the terms of the board. It should check, it should evaluate the internal financial controls on a periodic basis and the risk management systems as well. Something related to audit committee. Now something related to independent directors. Section 149, subsection 8. The company and the independent directors, company includes everyone, and the independent directors shall follow by the provisions specified in Schedule 4, which lays down the code for independent directors. There is Schedule 4 to the Companies Act 2013 lays the code for independent directors, the rules to be followed by the independent directors. As per this code, one of the roles and responsibilities of independent directors include they should satisfy themselves with the integrity of financial information, that the financial information with the company is coming out with in its annual report or whatever reports, they should satisfy themselves that this is true, correct. It has not been subject to any amendment. कोई छेड़खानी नहीं की गई है इस इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ, जैसी थी वैसी ही पेश की जा रही है. And the financial controls and systems of risk management are robust. Robust means strong, quite strong. And defensible. Defensible means they can defend the external attacks. 3 major points. Now coming to the most important point, the auditor's point. Section 143, subsection 3, clause 1. This is the most important part for your MCQ, for your correct, incorrect, specifically. What does it say? The auditor's report shall state whether the company has adequate internal financial control system in place and also on the operative effectiveness. So, जो directors ने section 134(5)(e) अपनी responsibility statement में बोला in the case of listed companies, auditor ने अपनी रिपोर्ट में भी वही बोलना है, चेक करके बताना है, यस जो डायरेक्टर्स अपने स्टेटमेंट में कहा एक्चुअली वो सही है, हमने चेक किया. नाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द ऑडिटर टू स्टेट दिस इन हिज ऑडिट रिपोर्ट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू द फॉलोइंग कंपनीज. द ऑडिटर नीड नॉट रिपोर्ट ऑन दिस इन द केस ऑफ द ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट व्हिच इज गोइंग टू गिव इन द केस ऑफ फॉलोइंग कंपनीज. व्हिच कंपनीज? अ प्राइवेट कंपनी which is either a one-person company or a small company. You all have read the definition of small company. Here, robust means strong, very strong, rough, strong. Or means either it is a one-person company or a small company, or either it is not a one-person company or a small company, but it has turnover less than rupees 50 crore as per the latest audited financial statements available, and has aggregate borrowing from banks, financial institutions, or any body corporate at any point of time, even if for a one day during the financial year, less than rupees 25 crores. So this particular requirement shall not apply to a private company. This shall not apply to a private company which is a one-person company or a small company. Fine. If it is a one-person company, not applicable. Small company, not applicable. If it is neither a one-person company or a small company, then the third case, it is a private company which has turnover of less than rupees 50 crore as per the latest audit financial statement. And further, which has aggregate borrowings from banks, financial institutions, or body corporate at any point of time during the financial year less than 25 crore. Means if, for example, on 30th July, the aggregate borrowings were 25.6 crores. Only on this date during the previous year. And from all other days, it was less than 25 crores. It should not even be equal to 25 crores. It was less than 25 crores. So this particular requirement will be applicable. Because what does it demand? It demands turnover should be less than 50 crores for the whole year as per the latest audit financial statement, and aggregate borrowings total from these sources, banks, financial institutions, body corporate, should always remain less than 25 crores. Any point of time during the year हम उठाकर देख लें 25 करोड़ से कम होनी चाहिए. कहीं भी एक दिन भी एक बार भी 25 करोड़ से ज्यादा गई, ये सेक्शन एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा उस प्राइवेट कंपनी. So this is what this section wants to say. Okay, fine. So these were the requirements of the company law. Internal financial controls, really important topic, guys. Data analytics, the most interesting topic of this chapter. We have read about database, right? We have read about it, the database, the cloud storage. Now let us understand what is data analytics. Data analytics is the combination is more than one, two simultaneously, three simultaneously, of processes, tools, techniques that are used to tap means capture, record, store, retrieve vast amounts of electronic data to obtain meaningful information. It is called data analysis. Either less than 50 crore and less than 25 crore. If it is more than 50 crore or the aggregate borrowings cross 25 crore at any time during the year, the section becomes applicable. Otherwise, the section is not applicable. Okay? It is called data analytics. Very simple. In steps, the definition, the meaning of data analytics, I've divided it into 5 steps. What is data analytics? Combination. Combination of what? Processes, tools, and techniques. For what? Used to tap vast amounts of data. Why? To obtain meaningful information. See, how do you need to understand the definitions? What is it? The combination of processes, tools, and techniques that are used for objective. Why? To obtain meaningful information. What is data analytics? The combination of processes, tools, and techniques for using objective to tap vast amounts of electronic data. Why? To obtain meaningful information. It is called data analytics. Okay? So why do companies use data analytics? Using data analytics, they, Facebook चला रहे हैं आप ultimately, and you search something on Google, latest iPhone price, latest, और आप Facebook चला रहे हैं, आप YouTube चला रहे हैं, बीच में एड्स आ रही हैं आईफोन की. फेसबुक के बीच में आपको पेजेस शो हो रहे हैं शॉपिंग वेबसाइट्स के जहां पे आईफोन डिस्काउंट पे मिल रहा है. दिस इज व्हाट दे हैव कैप्चर्ड यू, दे हैव स्टडीड यू, दे हैव एनालाइज्ड यू, दे हैव एनालाइज्ड योर डेटा. आप किस चीज के बारे में सर्च कर रहे थे ऑनलाइन, किस वीडियो, किस टॉपिक के ऊपर सर्च करना चाह रहे थे, एंड दिस चार्ट showing you those in advertisements, those websites. This is why companies use data analytics. What is Facebook? What is Insta? Data analytics. They're analyzing your data and offering you that. What happens? I was looking for iPhone. Oh, iPhone at a discount of 30%. Which website? Go, ordered it. Done. I spent my money and companies were successful. So the first question, why do companies use data analytics? The answer is here in you find it from your daily life. Why do companies need to use it? They benefit immensely. Profitability increases, customer service, tapping customers, tapping new customers. The credit card calls you get, sir, we want to offer you credit card, you have a good credit history. Where do they get this credit history? From the data analytics maintained by the companies. They analyze your data. You have credit cards, they're working really well, they'll give you loans, pre-approved loans for you. If you're using banking, digital banking mobile apps, sir, credit card, digital banking mobile apps, you'll get calls. Companies want to gain a competitive edge in competition. By analyzing your data, they'll approach you to purchase their product or service and more efficient operations. So this is a question. Why do companies use data analytics? These 4 points are the answers. Okay. Now, how is data analytics helpful for us? So, what are we doing? We are auditing the data and information available in the systems of the organization or the automated environment. We are working upon data. The auditor is working upon data. He has to give a true and fair opinion of the information and data obtained from the automated systems. So if we are working on the data, auditors also need to analyze data. They need to work upon data. They need to test their data and information. So auditors have also got some technology related help over here. The cats. It's not the meow wala cats. The cats. Computer aided or computer assisted audit tools or techniques. Auditors can make use of similar tools which the companies use to analyze the data of their customers. The auditors can make use of similar tools and techniques in the audit process and obtain good results. These tools and techniques that the auditor uses in applying the principles of data analytics in their audit are known as computer assisted auditing techniques. We take the assistance from computer systems, or CATs in short. Some examples of CATs: embedded audit module approach. What happens in this embedded audit module approach? The auditor inserts an audit module in the client's application system to identify specific types of transaction. In the client's accounting software, organization's accounting software, I insert an audit module. Whatever entries are being changed consistently, the audit module in that software, the part, that audit module in that program, in that software, it will maintain a log of those changes. So this is what embedded audit module approach kind of example. What is parallel simulation? These are the types of CATs I'm just discussing with you as an example. So what is parallel simulation? The auditor writes a computer program that replicates some part of a client's application system. So the auditor should have good knowledge of IT if he's getting written a computer program, and processes actual client data through an auditor's generalized audit software and compares the output obtained with the output obtained from the client. So there is clients or accounting software on their desktop. I take my laptop with me and I ask the accountant, okay, punch in these 5 entries into your accounting software. I'll punch in mine. Parallel simulation. So let's see the results, the reports we get from the accounting software, the same accounting software they are using. If there's a difference in the results, what have you done to your accounting software? A normal software will give this result, the report I'm getting, and your software is giving me a different report. This is called parallel simulation. साथ के साथ साइमल्टेनियसली तुम अपने सॉफ्टवेयर से निकाल के देखो, मैं अपने सॉफ्टवेयर सेम एंट्रीज, और देखते हैं क्या डिफरेंस आता है. Parallel simulation. Testing computer programs, integrated test facility. What is integrated test facility? The auditor establishes a fictitious entity such as a department, branch, customer or employee. Fictitious employee create कर दिया ABC. It enters transaction for that entity, observes how these transactions are processed. एक डमी एंट्री, एक फेक एंट्री और एक फेक प्रोसेस रूट आउट की पूरे सिस्टम के थ्रू फ्रॉम स्क्रैच टू एंड, एंड देखा क्या रिजल्ट मिल रहा है. दैट इज इंटीग्रेटेड टेस्ट फैसिलिटी फ्रॉम स्क्रैच टू एंड. सो दीज आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ CATs, हाउ ऑडिटर यूजेस CATs. So how do auditors benefit? Data analytics can be used in testing of electronic records and data residing in IT systems using spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, Microsoft Excel. See, if you can play with Excel really well, it is a magical world. It is a magical world. An audit can be conducted in such a shorter time using Excel, sorting, filtering, exceptional reports. Once you get into your training, you'll know the magic of Microsoft Excel and how it helps in auditing. The basic example is use of formulas, totals, sum, round off. They help us in preparation. But in auditing as well, specialized audit tools, we have IDEA software, ACL software. IDEA and ACL software are like Excel, but they are something, a really big magical world. In fractions of seconds, they give you reports from a huge amount of data. This is the kind of how an IDEA interface looks like. You can see on the right side of your screen, this part. This is how an IDEA interface looks like. For example, what we can do through ACL and IDEA, we can join 2 files based on a common key to a new file. There is names in one file, there is salary in one file. Using this kind of software, I can join these 2 files, where I'll get in the third file name and salary, all correct against the right person, or a subset of the fields from the source file. For example, in the name file, I have persons from north, south, east, center. I want to use that information, north, south, east, center, west, along with the second salary file, and want a third file where it gives me salary not as per the names, but as per the zones given to my employees. This can be done using IDEA. For example, the accounts receivable master file, the debtors file, can be joined with the invoice file to check credit limit to sales. How many invoices have been generated and what are the debtors? So can give an idea of what is the proportion of credit sales. Prabhas, I wish I could, but you know, IDEA software is really heavy software. So once you become a chartered accountant, or you can see it on watch it on YouTube as well, So you get into forensics. IDEA and ACL, you get to use them in forensic auditing, accounting and auditing. Really beautiful. I wish I could show you an example of IDEA or ACL, but it cannot work on a normal PC like this. It requires huge, it's quite a heavy software. And it is not actually required at this point of time. So my sincere apologies for that. So it takes actually huge time. I'll have to show you 2 files, how you can join them, how the third information can be obtained. But institute at times, you will find it on YouTube that our institute keeps on organizing webinars, how to use this, Excels and all. You can find it over there on YouTube on the institute's channel as well. So what is this used for? Checking completeness of data and population, selection of audit samples, like in this case, accounts receivable and invoices file, random sampling, systematic sampling. You'll do this in your next chapter, audit sampling. What is random sampling and systematic sampling? Recomputation of balances, reconstruction from trial balance. So you can reconstruct your trial balance from transaction data, reperformance of mathematical calculation, analysis of journal entries, frauds. This is where IDEA and ACL are being used. Fraud investigation, forensics, evaluating impact of control deficiencies. We have done this, right? Okay. So where the auditors can use data analytics. So as an auditor, how do I need to use CATs? There should be something, a sequence or a proper planning. There are several steps that should be followed to achieve success with CATs and any of the supporting tools. So what would be a suggestive approach? Understand the business environment, including IT. You have to understand the business environment and the automated environment. Define your objectives and criteria. What are the objectives and criteria of your audit? Identify source data and format of data. For example, the source of data in our previous example was the ledgers from the ledger reports from the accounting software, the data receivable or the invoices file. Format is if your software accepts Excel, PDF, what kind of format, t.txt text files. So format of data should be proper. Extract the data from your source. Verify the completeness and accuracy of the Excel, whether it is whatever data we have extracted from the source. Is it complete and accurate? While extraction, it should not have got amended. Apply the criteria on data obtained. Whatever criteria we are going to apply through the use of data analytics or like sampling or a formula or anything, what we want to apply are tools. Apply on that particular sample data. Validate and confirm the results, whether the results are as per your expectation, what you expected from using that audit technique. And then you have to report and document your results. What we have found using the CATs. Okay. You understand the environment, define your objective criteria, identify source, kahan se uthana hai. What should be the format? Extract that data, apply operations on it, and confirm your results and then document. This is the audit approach you have to use while using data analytics. Very easy, quite comfortable. Okay, audit and audit findings. So the institute has guidance note for its members who are auditors. The institute issues guidance notes from time to time so that the auditors can seek the help of these guidance notes while carrying out any audit. So institute has issues guidance note on the audit of internal financial controls as well. Where? What do you have to do? This guidance note tells us you have to assess the risk first. Risk assessment. We have to assess the risk first as an auditor. Then understand and evaluate the risk. Our findings. What are the findings from the risk assessment? We have to understand and evaluate them and test for the operating effectiveness of controls. What controls are in place to keep a check on those risks. And then we have to report. You have done this part in your chapter 4. I'm not going to repeat it again. You have done this part in your chapter 4. Risk assessment, understanding and evaluation, testing for operating effectiveness controls, and reporting. The same thing the guidance note tells us while auditing internal financial controls over financial reporting. Okay. Internal financial controls and internal financial controls over financial reporting. So, what should the auditor do? At the conclusion of each audit, it is possible that there are certain findings or exceptions in the IT environment of the company that need to be assessed and reported to relevant stakeholders. So the auditor may come to a point that yes, there are some important findings and exceptions that I need to tell the those charged with governance and board. Auditor has to assess each finding or exception he observed so that he may determine its impact on his audit and evaluate. What should he evaluate? If there are any exception results, if any exception which he has found during the audit results in a deficiency in internal control. It could be a control deficiency, it could be a significant deficiency, it could be a material weakness. So this evaluation and assessment by the auditor involves he has to apply his professional judgment. He has to keep in mind all quantitative and qualitative measures used by him. Each observation and exception should be considered individually as well as in combination aggregate. If individually it might be immaterial, but when combined with other individual exceptions, it might be a significant one. So what could the auditor think upon? Are there any weaknesses in IT controls? Yes. Then what is the impact of these weaknesses on my audit? If I am able to find deficiencies, I should report these deficiencies to the management through an internal controls memo or management letter. And I should also communicate these deficiencies to those charged with governance in writing. This should be my considerations with respect to my audit conclusion and my findings during the audit. So, the last part of the topic, this chapter, this flow chart. How does the auditor need to assess his audit findings? So where we were talking about professional judgment, everything the auditor needs to use. So this chart summarizes very beautiful an approach to assess audit finding. How do you assess? What have you found during the audit? How do you assess it? What approach should you use? First question, we'll go by the flowchart. First question, does the finding exception result in control deficiency? I say no, it does not. It does not. My finding exception is quite immaterial, insignificant. It does not result in control deficiency. Okay, no, fine. Follow this route. Follow this route and you reach. Document results of assessment and thought process in audit file conclude. Fine. Nothing, quite normal. Now it says, does in opposite, does the finding exception result in control deficiency? Yes. it results in a control deficiency. Okay. My second step would be report to the management that there is a control deficiency. I've reported it to the management. First responsibility is over. Next step, what as an auditor I have to do? क्या करना है मुझे? Evaluate likelihood and magnitude of deficiency. इस deficiency की वजह से क्या नुकसान हो सकता है और कितना नुकसान हो सकता है, उसे evaluate करना है मुझे. The likelihood, the probability and the magnitude of deficiency. कितनी बड़ी deficiency है ये. If उसके बाद पूछे is it a significant deficiency or material weakness, ये कौन सी थी? Significant deficiency or material weakness? Significant deficiency was which might result into misstatement. Material weakness, material misstatement. I would say yes, this control deficiency may result into a significant deficiency or material weakness. Communicate in writing to those charged with governance, sensitive matter, and you have communicated to TCM to DG. Assess the impact on your audit report as well. You have to mention the fact in your audit report as well. Conclude. Now, on the lighter part, after evaluating the likelihood and magnitude, I say, no, it is not a significant deficiency or material weakness. It is just a control deficiency. I have reported to the management. The next part, can the auditor test compensating controls? If this control deficiency is there, are there any other controls which are going to compensate because of the deficiency in these controls? They will compensate for the deficiency in these controls. If I am not able to do the work allotted by mother, will my brother do it? Will he compensate for this? I'll test it. My brother says yes, compensating control passed. If he says no, there are no other controls which can compensate for this deficiency. If there are available, yes, you might need to do some additional audit evidence. I might need to have asked the brother, this is an additional audit evidence. Brother says yes, additional audit evidence. I will say, brother was available, I'll document it and then conclude. That means there was a compensating core control available that will make up for the control deficiency. I'll document it. But if there are no compensating controls as well as there is no brother to take care of that allotted work, can we obtain evidence of other mitigating factors? Are there any other factors which will make up for this control deficiency? Yes. Okay. Do additional work, get additional evidence, document. No. There are no other mitigating मतलब जो इस control deficiency के लिए भरपाई कर सके. Is there an impact on automated controls or IT dependent controls? Yes, do additional work. No, quite simple. This control deficiency is quite immaterial. Document, conclude. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cycles in this flow chart. There are 6 cycles in this flow chart. 6 possible assessments, 6 possible findings in this flow chart for the auditor. This is just an example relating to audit report of the auditor in audited environment. There is a control deficiency in the general IT controls. There is a control deficiency in the general IT controls. And how does the auditor report it? Auditor found a deficiency in the password reset. He said password were being reset without any documentation. They should be reset with proper request. So what did the auditor observe? During the audit, the auditor observed that as per the information security policy of the company, user access changes should be initiated and approved. If a password is being changed, it is a change in the user access. It should be initiated, means a proper request should be received and a proper authority should approve it. However, auditor says we did not notice any formal process being followed for password reset. Password reset requests are presently communicated over phone. अच्छा भाई ये change कर लो, ये password रख लो ऐसे करके. And there is no supporting documentation being maintained. So this is the control deficiency. अब the auditor says क्या result हो सकता है इसका? Passwords of user ID with critical privileges may be reset and misused. कोई expense है जिसे sanction करना है, and if such lenient approach is used, anybody can get the password reset and gets an expense sanction for themselves. It could be misused. And it is also a known compliance with the information security policy of the company. So auditor ने observe किया, and then he told what could be the risk exposure. Now he is giving his recommendations. He has to give his recommendations. It is recommended that all passwords be requested through a formal process. Supporting documentation should be maintained, and password reset request should be reviewed periodically. ये ना हो रोज password change हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है? And management अपने comments देगी इसके ऊपर. So this is the kind of example. Here, quantitative measures means what the auditors is observing through inquiries, through inspection, the qualitative measures, what we can observe physically. And quantitative is using facts and figures. I suppose here it is okay, qualitative and qualitative measures. This finishes your chapter 6, audit in an automated environment. Okay. Correct, incorrect questions I've already given you. You can read and practice from over there. Difference between internal financial control and internal control over financial reporting. Explain how internal financial control and internal controls over financial reporting differ. So internal financial controls defined in section 134, subsection 5, clause E. Policies, procedures, we have read the definition. Adopted for ensuring orderly, efficient conduct of business, adherence to company's policies, safeguarding assets, everything. On the other hand, what is internal controls over financial reporting? This is required where auditors are required to express opinion on effectiveness of an entity's internal controls. So these are internal financial controls. This is normal internal controls, not financials. Those internal controls which have been put into place for financial reporting. Internal controls related to financial reporting. So these are internal controls over financial reporting. Internal financial controls were the 5 objectives which we talked about. Okay. Reliability of source data Dhanlakshmi means that from where you are going to extract data, the source data, that should be trustworthy. Bharoseman, you can place your trust that the source data is accurate and complete. That is reliability of source data. Then question, very simple. I told you I've given you the answers in the form of examination style only. This is an examination question. With respect to audit in an automated environment, explain the following. This is an examination, previous examination question. Okay. So that was it for chapter 6. Now, for the 5 to 10 minutes next, we have a case study for you. Do you want to see data analytics in a graphical manner? If you wish to see, I'll show you. Otherwise, we'll proceed with the case study. Just let me know if you want to see data analytics. What is data, big data, data analytics in a graphical manner? I'll show you. Otherwise, we'll proceed with case study. Okay, meanwhile you answer, let us start with the case study. Okay, mock test 1, the multiple choice questions I've uploaded for you. This case study I'll upload it today after discussing with you. This case study is okay. You want to see? Good. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you data analytics. That will be a break for you, and then we'll do the case study. Fine. Let us take a break. We will watch the video, 5 minutes. You watch the video, and then we'll take up the case study. Okay. The case study questions you'll get in your exams, case study type questions.
We all use smartphones, but have you ever wondered how much data it generates in the form of texts, phone calls, emails, photos, videos, searches, and music? Approximately 40 exabytes of data gets generated every month by a single smartphone user. Now, imagine this number multiplied by 5 billion smartphone users. That's a lot for our mind to even process, isn't it? In fact, this amount of data is quite a lot for traditional computing systems to handle. And this massive amount of data is what we term as big data. Let's have a look at the data generated per minute on the internet. 2.1 million snaps are shared on Snapchat. 3.8 million search queries are made on Google. 1 million people log on to Facebook. 4.5 million videos are watched on YouTube. 188 million emails are sent. That's a lot of data. So, how do you classify any data as big data? This is possible with the concept of 5 V's: volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. Let us understand this with an example from the healthcare industry. Hospitals and clinics across the world generate massive volumes of data. 2,314 exabytes of data are collected annually in the form of patient records and test results. All this data is generated at a very high speed, which attributes to the velocity of big data. Variety refers to the various data types, such as structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Examples include Excel records, log files, and X-ray images. Accuracy and trustworthiness of the generated data is termed as veracity. Analyzing all this data will benefit the medical sector by enabling faster disease detection, better treatment, and reduced cost. This is known as the value of big data. But how do we store and process this big data? To do this job, we have various frameworks such as Cassandra, Hadoop, and Spark. Let us take Hadoop as an example and see how Hadoop stores and processes big data. Hadoop uses a distributed file system known as Hadoop Distributed File System to store big data. If you have a huge file, your file will be broken down into smaller chunks and stored in various machines. Not only that, when you break the file, you also make copies of it, which goes into different nodes. This way, you store your big data in a distributed way and make sure that even if one machine fails, your data is safe on another. MapReduce technique is used to process big data. A lengthy task A is broken into smaller tasks, B, C, and D. Now, instead of one machine, 3 machines take up each task and complete it in a parallel fashion and assemble the results at the end. Thanks to this, the processing becomes easy and fast. This is known as parallel processing. Now that we have stored and processed our big data, we can analyze this data for numerous applications. In games like Halo 3 and Call of Duty, designers analyze user data to understand at which stage most of the users pause, restart, or quit playing. This insight can help them rework on the storyline of the game and improve the user experience, which in turn reduces the customer churn rate. Similarly, big data also helped with disaster management during Hurricane Sandy in 2012. It was used to gain a better understanding of the storm's effect on the east coast of the U.S., and necessary measures were taken. It could predict the hurricane's landfall 5 days in advance, which wasn't possible earlier. These are some of the clear indications of how valuable big data can be once it is accurately processed and analyzed. So, here's a question for you. Which of the following statements is not correct about Hadoop Distributed File System, HDFS? A. HDFS is the storage layer of Hadoop. B. Data gets stored in a distributed manner in HDFS. C. HDFS performs parallel processing of data. D. Smaller chunks of data are stored on multiple data nodes in HDFS. Give it a thought and leave your answers in the comment section below. 3 lucky winners will receive Amazon gift vouchers.
Okay. So I'm not going to give any Amazon gift vouchers. Don't leave your comments. Leave your comments in the query box for the case study we are going to do practice for your examination. Right? So let us do that. The case study. Okay, so should just tell me first, are you able to view my screen? Is it visible to everyone? Can you read it or should I zoom it more? Can you read it quite clearly? See Intermediate Auditing, Chapter 6, Mock Test 2, Case Study. You have to read it with me. And this is a quiz. This is going to be a quiz for you. We are going to enjoy it a lot. Let us see how many of you give correct answers. It is like a game, an activity. I'm going to tell you a story using your Chapter 6. This is what you're going to get in your exam as well, integrated case scenario and questions based upon that case study. Multiple choice questions. So just let me know if you're able to view my screen properly. Okay, they're saying zoom it a more. मुझे मत चश्मा लगवा देना. बहुत है इतना बहुत है. I suppose it is good, right? This one is good. इससे ज्यादा नहीं करते हैं. चलिए मेरे साथ साथ पढ़ेंगे. Be with me. Read with me. Messrs. KTR and Associates. This is a chartered accountancy firm. With its partners. Who are the partners of this chartered accountancy firm? CA Kumar, CA Tina, and CA Rohan. They have been appointed as the auditors of Vigyan Limited. Vigyan Limited is a company that have been appointed as auditors of Vigyan Limited for the financial year 2021 and 22. So there is a CA firm, KTR and Associates. There are partners, CA Kumar, CA Tina, and CA Rohan. They have been appointed as the auditors of this firm, has been appointed as the auditors of Vigyan Limited for financial year 21-22. Hema, Rekha, Jaya, and there is no Sushma. Hema, Rekha, and Jaya are respectively the managing, part-time, and independent directors of Vigyan Limited. Okay. So Hema is respectively the managing director, Rekha is the part-time director, and Jaya is the independent director. Fine. Hema is the managing, Rekha is the part-time, and Jaya is independent director of Vigyan Limited. And while Sushma is not there, we have Mr. Sushil Sharma. So Mr. Sushil Sharma is a secretary to the CIO. So there is one more post. Mr. Sushil Sharma, who is the secretary to the Chief Information Officer. Done? Enough information till now? Vigyan Limited is an e-commerce company and almost all the processes, operations, accounting and decisions are carried out by using computers in the company. The auditors understand that there are several aspects that they should consider to determine the level of automation and complexity in the business environment of Vigyan Limited, because it is an automated environment now. While planning the audit work, the engagement partners discussed with the audit staff about the various types of controls in the automated environment. The senior most article, Ravi, must be in third year of his articleship. Ravi is given the task of understanding, observing, and documenting how the IT department is organized in the company. The IT activities, the IT dependencies, relevant risks and controls. So what is the IT structure? How is it organized? The IT activities, what is the IT dependency in the company? What are the relevant IT risks and controls? CA Tina tells her article of the firm Vidya about using the IDEA software in audit operations. So Prabhas, you were asking me, please sir, show us something. So CA Tina is asking Article Vidya that you have to use IDEA software. The different types of audit tests that can be used in the audit of an automated business environment were also discussed within the engagement team. Like I discussed with you, embedded audit module approach, integrated test facility, parallel simulation, right? The responsibility regarding the internal financial controls was also discussed in detail. The company law, Companies Act part. Further, the tools and techniques that can be used to deal with the enormous data analytics and information of Vigyan Limited were briefed to the audit staff by the engagement partners. CA Rohan observes that the IT risks have not been considered for and not mitigated to an acceptable level, thereby impacting the business environment such that more substantive audit work is needed to be done by them as auditor. So the risk is had not been properly handled and they'll have to do more audit work. CA Kumar, further, one of the partners, finds that the secretary to the CIO, Chief Information Officer, has been given access to the information systems that enforces less or no limits on using that system. He has been given access to an information system where there are no limits. Anybody can use that system. He requests Mr. Sunil Sharma to tell him about the company's documented policy with respect to the BCP, Business Continuity Plan, and Disaster Recovery Plan to recover from failure in case any unfortunate event occurs. CA Kumar requests Mrs. Sunil Sharma. He further tells the article Raman to prepare a risk and control matrix as per the risks identified relating to the company's automated environment. The team carries out the audit, and while assessing their findings to be included in the audit report, they find a significant deficiency in the internal controls and discuss among themselves as how it should be reported. पूरी कहानी आपके सामने है, क्या क्या हुआ, कब हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कौन कौन इन्वॉल्व था. अब आपकी बारी है गेम खेलने की, क्वेश्चंस को आंसर करने. So the first question, the powers given to Mr. Sunil Sharma by the CIO falls under the category of, क्या दी हुई थी Mr. Sunil Sharma को power? Mr. Sunil Sharma was the secretary to the CIO. He was given the power to access the information system that enforces less or no limits on using that system. ये power दी हुई थी CIO ने. ये किस कैटेगरी में आता है? डाटा ब्रीच, segregation of duties, super or privileged access, centralized system control. Come on, be fast. Answer this question. Power, what was the power given to access the information system without any limit or enforcement? We'll wait for your answers. Come on. Good, good, good. Very good. Akash Nil, Dhanlakshmi, Kushi, Sudhanshu, Hiral. Very good. Super and privileged access. This is the answer. Super or privileged access. Very good. You guys score 2 marks. Chaliye, next. This is a statement assertion type of question. There is one statement which says, Section 149, subsection 8 of the Companies Act 2013 applies to the company and director Jaya specifically. Oh, it applies to the company and director Jaya specifically. So who is Jaya? Good, good. Everybody is good. Prabhas, Hiral, Mr. Chitala, Pooja, Kiran. Very good, very good. Who is Jaya? Jaya कौन से director है? Hema Rekha Jaya respectively the managing part-time independent. So Jaya is the independent director. Companies Act वाला टेबल पूछ रहे हैं हमसे यहाँ पे. कहते हैं सेक्शन 149 सबसेक्शन 8 सिर्फ कंपनी और जया को स्पेसिफिकली अप्लाई करते हैं. इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर है जया, तो इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर वाला कॉलम. स्टेटमेंट 2, सेक्शन 143 Subsection 3, clause 1 of the Companies Act applies to Hema, Rekha, Jaya and Sushil together. Hema, Rekha, Jaya, Sushma की जगह सुशील. तो सेक्शन 143 सबसेक्शन 3 क्लॉज 1 इनको लगता है, इनके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल है. मेरे को स्टेट, अब वो ऑप्शंस क्या दे रहे हैं? ओनली स्टेटमेंट 1 इज करेक्ट, ओनली स्टेटमेंट 2 इज करेक्ट, बोथ स्टेटमेंट्स 1 and 2 आर करेक्ट, बोथ स्टेटमेंट्स 1 and 2 आर इनकरेक्ट. व्हाट इज योर आंसर? कम ऑन. Akash Neil has come up with the answer and he's right. What about others? Come on, guys, be quick. Good, Karthik, Sudhanshu, Hiral, Dhanlakshmi, Kushi, really good. No, Prabhas, no. सेक्शन 143 सबसेक्शन 3 क्लॉज 1. मेरे को यहीं पे हिंट मिल गया, ये लगता ही ऑडिटर पे है, ये किसी कंपनी की एम्प्लॉय पे लगता ही नहीं है. दिस वाज फॉर द ऑडिटर. और पहले वाला मुझे चेक करना है, याद होना चाहिए भी यही सेक्शन सबसेक्शन था जो इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर पे लगता है. नो प्रभास, नो पूजा. स्टेटमेंट 1 इज करेक्ट, वो इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर पे लगती है. स्टेटमेंट 2 इज इनकरेक्ट, वो ऑडिटर पे लगती है. Check out the table in your study material or the notes which I have shared. The work allocated to Article Raman is of the nature of dash as per the guidance note on internal financial controls issued by ISI. What is Raman doing? Let us see. He further tells Article Raman to prepare a risk and control matrix. Risk and control matrix किसके अंदर आता है? Risk assessment, अंडरस्टैंड एंड इवेल्युएट, टेस्ट फॉर ऑपरेटिंग इफेक्टिवनेस, रिपोर्टिंग. ये कहां किया था हमने? जो मैंने कहा था आपको, आपने अपने चैप्टर में किया हुआ है. किस चैप्टर में? चैप्टर 4 में. ये वाला पार्ट, ये 4 ऑप्शंस दिए हैं आपको. रिस्क असेसमेंट, अंडरस्टैंड एंड इवैल्यूएट, टेस्ट फॉर ऑपरेटिंग, रिपोर्टिंग. देखिए इसमें रिस्क कंट्रोल मैट्रिक्स कहां आ रहा है? यहां आ रहा है, अंडरस्टैंड एंड इवैल्यूएट वाले पार्ट में. तो ये आपको पता होना चाहिए किस पार्ट में क्या स्टेप्स आ रहे हैं. ये स्टेप्स आपको आ गए मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन में. रमन रिस्क एंड कंट्रोल मैट्रिक्स बना रहा है, वो अंडरस्टैंड एंड इवैल्यूएट वाले पार्ट में आ रहा है. The answer to 3 is B. Yes, Pooja, Sushil wasn't an auditor. Sushil was an employee of the company. Yes, Aini, you'll have to learn the glossary. These are the basic terms related to technology. You'll have to learn them. Very important. That is the glossary which I covered in with the pictures. It's fine, Prabhat. It's completely fine. We are not giving away any Amazon discounts at all. Question number 3, B. Okay. Karthik, ठीक है. It's fine. Yeah. Give me the opportunity as well to play now. कहता आपने आंसर ही बता दिया. You have another 7 questions to give answer, Karthik, to score. 4th question. The work being performed by the article Divya is an example of using dash in audit. Yes, I'm going to what is Divya doing. I'll show you. Okay, where is the? Oh, I'm really sorry. There is a mistake. Vidya और Divya नाम अलग-अलग हो गए. मैं अपलोड करने से पहले इसे करेक्ट कर दूंगा. CA Tina tells her article Vidya about using the idea software in audit operations. So Vidya, it's not Divya, it's Vidya. So the work being performed by article Vidya is an example of using audit test, walkthrough, written representation, or data analytics. Using idea software, audit test, walkthrough, representation, or data analytics. Answer to question number 4. Answer to question number 4. Please be fast. What is Vidya doing? She has been asked to use idea software. Arey wow, really nice. Good, really good. Data analytics, really nice. Very good. So You have to very well understand the story related to your syllabus and then answer these questions. Fifth part. As per the audit findings of the team, they should communicate in writing to those charged with governance, report the matter directly to central government, test the compensating controls of the company, or re-perform the audit trail. So what were the audit findings? देखते हैं. The team carries out the audit, and while assessing their findings to be included in the audit report, they find a significant deficiency in the internal controls and discuss among themselves as how to it should be reported. लास्ट वाला फ्लो चार्ट जिसमें मैंने आपको कहा था आपके पास 6 ऑप्शंस हैं, 6 रूट्स हैं, उसमें दे फाउंड अ सिग्निफिकेंट डेफिशिएंसी. व्हाट शुड दे डू? Karthik is in form. Is in competition with me. Fifth answer, please. The audit team has found significant deficiencies in internal control. What should they do? Arey, wow. Very good, very good. Hitesh, Karthik, Pooja, Dhanlakshmi, Kiran, Kiral, very good. They should communicate in writing to those charged with governance as per our flow chart. अगर वो flow chart का पिक्चर आपके दिमाग में रेडी है ना, ये क्वेश्चन फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड्स में आप क्लिक कर जाएगा आंसर इसका. डन. चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Raman and his team are working in compliance with SA 315, SA 240, SA 200, SA 299. What are Raman and his team doing? Let us see. Where is Raman? Raman. कहाँ है Raman? Oh, I'm not able to find Raman. Where was Raman? Here it is. So he further tells article Raman to prepare a risk and control matrix as per the risks identified relating to the company's environment. So risk and control matrix बनाने से किस ऐसे के अंदर ये कवर होता है रिस्क एंड कंट्रोल मैट्रिक्स, ये देखना है आपको. 315, 240, 200, 299. Yes, please. Good. Really good. SA 315. Very good. SA 315. This is the answer. Chaliye. CA Rohan's observations show the impact of risks in IT environment on. What were CA Rohan's observations? Where is CA Rohan? Okay, here. CA Rohan observes that the IT risks have not been considered for and not mitigated to an acceptable level, thereby impacting the business environment such that more substantive audit work is needed to be done by them as auditors. ये वो वाला फ्लो चार्ट है जहां पे इम्पैक्ट ऑफ आईटी रिलेटेड रिस्क वाला हमने किया था. कंप्लायंस, सब्सटेंशिव एंड ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्टिंग 3 पार्ट्स थे ना, तो उसमें से कौन सा आएगा? Substantive audit, controls, reporting, there would be no risk impact. Okay, go ahead. 7th answer. Very good, Mr. Bharat Kumar. SA 315, Pooja, good. Hitesh, very good. Jaya Agarwal, really good. Really good. Akashnil is moving really fast. He scores the first position every time I come up with a question. So CA Rohan's observations show the impact of risk in IT environment on substantive audit, controls, reporting. There is no risk impact. Come on. Answer to question number 7. Hiral wrong. Very good Akashnil. Very good Karthik. Tricky question. Karthik, क्या कर रहा है? गलत. Kushi, very good. Pooja, good. No Sudhanshu. No Jaya, no Prabhas. It is controls. Do check the flow chart. Or should I make you check it? It is covered under controls, impact on controls. You'll have to check the chart. Open your book or the notes. Let's move ahead. Oh, again, this statement, tricky question. Say Kumar's request to Mr. Sunil Sharma. Say Kumar is the auditor. Mr. Sunil Sharma is the secretary to the CIO. So what does he want? What is your request? CA Kumar request. Where is? Yes. He requests Mr. Sunil Sharma to tell him about the company's documented policy with respect to business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan. ये हमने कहाँ पढ़ा था? उन चारों में पढ़ा था ना? General IT controls, data center and network operations, program change, access security mechanism, and application system acquisition, development and maintenance. वो चार जनरल आईटी कंट्रोल्स पढ़े थे. उनमें से किसी एक में था बीसीपी डीआरपी. जब मेरे को किसी ने पूछा था, someone asked me, बीसीपी डीआरपी लिख सकते हैं पूरा लिखने की बजाय. So what is the answer to? Okay. So his request was to provide him with the policy of BCP DRP. Statement 1. It falls under the program change type of general controls implemented in the company by the management. Statement 2. His objective of the request is to ensure that access to program and data is authenticated and authorized to meet financial reporting objectives. जब हमने ये किया था तब वहां पे लिखा हुआ था what is the criteria object and what are the activities. For all the 4 domains, object and activities were covered. The request is one of the activities. And statement 2 is the objective. So you'll have to correlate. 8th. I'm looking for who gives me the right answer for 8th. BCP and DRP. Okay. Yes. Very good, Akash Neil. Very good, Karthik, Khushi. Both statements are incorrect because statement 1, it doesn't fall under program change, but data center and network operations. Second, this is the objective of the access security part, not the data center and network operations part. So both the statements are incorrect. This is program change and this is access security, but the request was under data center and network operations part. 9th question. The audit team finds a deficiency in internal control, which means that control is designed, implemented, or operated in such a way that it is unable to dash misstatement in the financial statements on a timely basis. The audit team found significant deficiency. So definition of significant deficiency. Ms. Khan, you asked for the glossary. This is a question from the glossary. So the answer to question number 9, significant deficiency, failure may result to prevent or detect and correct. Very simple. 9th is simple. 9th is simple. It's really simple from the. Okay, 10th and the last question. Which of the following is a type of control deficiency or a combination of deficiencies in internal controls that is important enough to merit the attention of those charged with governance, since there is a reasonable possibility that a material misstatement will not be prevented or detected in a timely manner by the management? Such an easy question in the last. 10th का आंसर बताओ जल्दी मुझे. Yes, Cyril, you asked. 10th का आंसर, 10th का आंसर जो सही बताएगा दैट मींस उसको चैप्टर, उसने चैप्टर अच्छे से सुना है, मेरे साथ था वो, दे वर विद मी ड्यूरिंग द होल दोज 2 days. आज भी 10th का जिसने सही बताया. हाँ, कार्तिक साथ में था, आकाशनील साथ में था, हितेश साथ में था, प्रभास तुम मेरे साथ नहीं थे यार, तो आपने मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछे थे तो मैं साथ ही थे. गिव मी द करेक्ट आंसर. हीरल वाज देयर, सुधांशु, किरण, खुशी, प्रभास, नो. Significant deficiency was only a misstatement. When material were joined, it became a material weakness. It became a material weakness. Okay. So this is all for your chapter 6. I hope you really enjoyed it. This is the most technical chapter in audit because it involves the use of computers. And students usually get bored or they want to leave this chapter. But I hope we have been able to do justice with this chapter. You have the notes, you have the MCQs, you have the practice questions, the correct and incorrect questions to practice. Do learn, do practice this chapter. And this case study, which you have done with me, I'll be uploading it by tonight or by tomorrow morning for you people, just after adjusting that Vidya and Divya confusion. And then you can practice this case study as well from examination point of view. I hope this much study and practice is enough for you. And then you can always, anytime you have to practice your back questions and examples within your chapter. Good, Hiral. What is the score of everyone? Before binding up the session for today, can you please tell me the score? किसका क्या-क्या score रहा 10 में से? Who is the winner today? मेरा तो 10 में से 10 ही था. I scored 10 out of 10. I should score 11 out of 10 because it is me who framed the questions for you people. I scored 11 out of 10. Yes, please. Okay, fine. Thank you, people. Thank you, students. What a great batch. 8 out of 10 is good. Akashnil, I knew you got 10 out of 10. Really good. 9. Anything greater than 7. 7, greater than equal to 7 is really good. You are doing really good. Less than 7, you need to go through the notes again, practice questions, and then this case study again. Okay? Take care. Good night. We'll meet you in some other chapter soon in the next month. Okay, bye-bye.